Do you know an entire Roman city was buried alive in under 24 hours, so completely, so instantly, that people died still mid-meal, mid-conversation, frozen in the exact position they were standing in, for the next 1700 years? This is a story about the single deadliest day in the history of the Roman Empire. Pompeii, a wealthy, bustling seaside city near the Bay of Naples, home to around 11,000 people. Nearby stood Mount Vesuvius, a mountain the Romans had lived beside for generations, wooded, quiet, and, as far as anyone knew, completely dormant. There had been warning signs. Back in 62 AD, a massive earthquake had struck the region, causing widespread destruction throughout Pompeii. Some of that damage still hadn't been repaired, 17 years later. The Romans were used to minor tremors around Vesuvius. They treated them as background noise, an ordinary part of daily life, never once suspecting what was actually happening beneath the mountain. Then, on August 24, 79 AD, in the early afternoon, Mount Vesuvius erupted with a violence nobody in the region had ever witnessed. A massive column of ash and gas shot roughly 20 miles into the sky. A Roman writer named Pliny the Younger, watching from across the bay, described the cloud's shape as resembling a giant pine tree, spreading out at the top exactly like branches. For the next several hours, pumice stones, some the size of a human fist, rained down continuously on Pompeii. Roofs across the city began collapsing under the accumulating weight. Residents faced an impossible choice: stay inside and risk being crushed, or run outside directly into the falling debris. Historical accounts describe citizens tying pillows to their heads with rope, desperately trying to protect themselves from the falling stones as they fled. Most people made the right call, and ran. Evidence suggests the majority of Pompeii's population successfully evacuated during those first 12 critical hours. But thousands of others stayed behind, sheltering in their homes, believing, hoping, that the worst had already passed. That decision would prove fatal. As dawn broke on the second day, the ash fall actually began to ease. For a brief, deceptive moment, it seemed like the danger was finally over. Some residents who had fled the city actually began returning, hoping to gather whatever belongings they could salvage. It was, tragically, the calm directly before the deadliest moment of the entire eruption. Around 7:30 that morning, the volcano's massive eruption column suddenly collapsed in on itself, unleashing a pyroclastic surge, a superheated wall of ash, gas, and rock, racing down the mountainside at over 100 miles per hour, with temperatures exceeding 570 degrees Fahrenheit. It reached Pompeii in moments. For every single person still inside the city, death was instantaneous. For years, historians believed victims died from suffocation, slowly buried under falling ash. Modern forensic analysis has proven that theory wrong. The extreme heat caused instant thermal shock, searing lungs and killing people in a fraction of a second, before their bodies even had time to register pain. Researchers found telltale signs of this instant death preserved in skeletal remains, muscle contractions caused by extreme, immediate heat. When it was finally over, roughly 16,000 people had died across Pompeii, Herculaneum, and the surrounding countryside, all within about 24 hours. Pompeii itself was buried under nearly 20 feet of ash and volcanic debris, so completely, so thoroughly, that the entire city essentially vanished from the map, undiscovered for the next 1600 years. When archaeologists finally rediscovered and began excavating Pompeii in the 18th century, what they found stunned the entire world. The volcanic ash had acted almost like a time capsule, perfectly preserving buildings, artwork, and even the final, haunting shapes of victims themselves, frozen exactly as they were in their last living moment. Mount Vesuvius destroyed an entire city in less than a day. But in doing so, it accidentally preserved a perfect, untouched window into ancient Roman life, one that historians are still studying and learning from over 1900 years later.